Welcome everyone to the Moisky News for February 20th, 2020. That's a lot of 2s and 0s in the date. I don't like it. Today I want to talk about the UK points-based immigration system, which has been introduced yesterday. There is a policy statement on the .gov website. I have linked the entire statement down below, but as we are going to go through it, you'll see it on the screen anyway. This particular statement, this system, this idea notion of controlling immigration has bugged a lot of people. This statement will undoubtedly do them no favours. My mouse is going to linger here for a while. I do apologise. The UK exited the EU on the 31st of January. Yes, we did. D-Day happened. The country has now turned to rubble. This policy statement sets out how we will fulfil our commitment to the British public and take back control of our borders. Based on the apparent negotiations going forward, I doubt we are in the slightest, but I'm open to being proven wrong. We are ending free movement and will introduce an immigration bill to bring in a firm and fair points-based system, ripped off of Australia, that will attract the high-skilled workers we need to contribute to our economy, our communities, and our public services. We currently have a huge deficit in certain sectors of employment, and we are struggling to find suitable replacements because we have in the past relied on work from abroad, or workers, to come and fill those holes. It will be very interesting to see if we are able to plug those gaps and give those relevant services the attention they need. Now I'm going to scroll down a little, because this is all bump, basically, in favour of going to what is the UK points-based system. 1. From the 1st of January 2021, free movement will end basically the next day after we actually finish leaving the EU, if there's no extension. And we will introduce the UK points-based system. This is part of a wider multi-year programme of change, led by the Home Office, which explains why Priti Patel was trending on Twitter yesterday, many pointing out that under this system, her own family could never have come here, because that's a valid point. To transform the operation of the border and immigration system. 2. These changes will be followed by further improvements to the UK's sponsorship system and the operation of the UK border, including in the longer term the introduction of electronic travel authorities to ensure those coming to the UK have permission to do so in advance of travel. We are taking a phased approach, because that worked so well for Universal Credit, to ensure the smooth delivery of this new system, okay, and to allow sufficient time for everyone to adapt. This policy statement focuses on the first phase of changes being introduced in 2021. The first is Salary and Skills Threshold. We accept the MAC, Migration Advisory Committee's recommendation on those salary thresholds, which include to lower the general salary threshold from $30,000 to $25,600. That's quite a big salary, I'm just saying. Maybe I've been a peasant for too long, but 25 grand's good. Migrants will still need to be paid the higher of the specific salary threshold for their occupation, known as the going rate and the general salary threshold. However, as set out below, under the points-based system for skilled workers, applicants will be able to trade characteristics such as their specific job offer and qualifications against a lower salary. Ah, bartering. Why did I think of the Ferengi when I heard this? There will continue to be different arrangements for a small number of occupations where the salary threshold will be based on published pay scales. So there is a very small chance certain occupations will be means assessed. That's interesting. Earning 30 grand where I live makes you a millionaire. So we'll have none of those blasted migrants come here. I'm not doing that voice again. Anyway, next, down to skilled workers. And this shows where the points on offer are of use and what you need. Now there is a minimum salary threshold, which is £20,480, still pretty good money. You need 70 points from this list of characteristics to be eligible to apply. That would include offer of job by approved sponsor, job at appropriate skill level, speaks English at required level, racist. A salary, there are 3 tiers for that, some worth points, which is handy. Job in a shortage occupation as designed by the MAC. Education qualification, which is PhD in subject relevant to the job. Education qualification PhD in a STEM subject relevant to the job. That's right. STEM is better. STEM will always be better. Going further down, there is reference to highly skilled workers, which is basically STEM. Seriously, honestly, STEM. And lower skilled workers. Now, lower skilled workers, there's a lot more to it, but the long and short of it is they will not be implementing a route for lower skilled workers. The list of reasons given would include employers needing to remove themselves from the reliance of UK's immigration system as an alternative to invest in staff retention, productivity, and of course, investment in tech and automation, because blast those humans, the machines will rise. The obvious push for employing skilled migrants from overseas. There is obviously reference to the EU settlement scheme, which does raise a number of questions about that particular influence within the UK once we leave. I'm sure that will be negotiated heavily regardless. Also, we as a country do actually take in a lot of people who are not from the EU as lower skilled occupation migrants. So possibly seeking to steal all of Canadians would be of great use to us when they're not busy cutting down trees. There's also an intention to expand schemes for seasonal workers in agriculture and invest further in the youth. There is more reference further down to students and specialist occupations, because we do actually have a number of students, quite a lot in fact, that come from the EU. I'm all for them coming here to study if they believe our education is better and they pay for it. But we also do from China. I remember that quite well from when I was at university in 2006 to 2012. So one would want to ensure either to protect the education available without compromising the ability for British students to, of course, obtain a spot at the relevant university. This is a basic premise for what is going to happen. Other routes would include family reunion, asylum and border crossing checks. These are outside of the points-based system, but they are integral to the transformation of the UK's new immigration system programme. Is that the one where we don't do family reunions anymore? Because I know that's been debated quite heavily in Parliament. They're also seeking to reform visitors' provisions, because the current rules are a bit too vague, but also allowing the EU citizens to come to the UK for up to 6 months without the need to obtain a visa, which I think's okay. You can work seasonal if you want, cash in hand if you're lucky. I'm kidding, why would you want to do that? Future System will also deliver on Mode 4 commitments for temporary service suppliers in line with existing and future trade agreements. And the UK will not be creating a dedicated route for self-employed people. I'm quite triggered by this, but then I'm a UK national, so I'm safe. For criminality, they are going to introduce a single, consistent and firm approach to criminality across this immigration system. They will apply it to anyone that seeks to come to the UK wherever they are from. EU citizens are subject to different thresholds than those of the rest of the world. Existing UK rules for non-EU citizens are stricter and more specific, and the application of the current EU public policy test is less certain and predictable in practice than the UK would like. My view is, no special treatment. Bye. There is a whole section on the visa process which can be simplified down to do it online, swag, along with further reference to crossing the border to protect the public, of course, along with ensuring people have access courtesy of e-gates and, of course, documents. Don't want to lose those. E-gates, though, are the future. Soon you'll have a chip in your neck, like a dog. There is a little more to this, but in truth, it's not that interesting anymore. It gets kind of dull for the last bit on the MAC analysis of a points-based system. But I'm going to link it down below if anyone is interested in having a thorough read of this. I think this opens a huge can of worms. I do believe we need to control the immigration in this country, 100%. However, this is going to start many fights in Parliament. That's what I'm more interested in now, because now we get to pick at it. We really do. You can say, yes, but based on the people putting it in place, all the people in government now wouldn't be in this country. It's not a valid argument. They're here. Some could argue that much like the Labour Party wanting to abolish private school after having sent all their children to it, the Conservatives are removing the ladder from beneath others. It is an argument that can certainly be made, but it is a false equivalence. But I do agree there is an odd similarity, and I do get the point that people make when they make this particular claim. I am going to make it a point to dive deeper into this when a bit more comes out, because this statement isn't enough right now. There are plenty of things within it, but it's all quite vague, because we don't have the actual concrete policy, just the idea, a statement of what may well happen. The debates on this are going to be quite interesting, although undoubtedly the votes will entirely go in Boris's favour. With this, I do want to know what you think. Please do let me know in the comments down below.